Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Fnatic, and I'm back with yet another schedule preview. Today we'll be doing the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So I'm going to be posting two schedule previews and a coach's rankings for the SEC and three schedule previews tomorrow. So, I'm excited. It's been a great 2 weeks here for the SEC. You guys seem to have enjoyed it. For the comments that I've gotten, it seems like you guys respectfully agree and disagree with some of the stuff that I said, and I think it's going to be no different today with our Mississippi State preview. I've said on a couple of occasions that I don't think Mississippi State's going to be that good. I'm not a big believer in their quarterback. I think they're going to have a good defense, but not much offense, and I think that's really going to hold them back. So will they be good or will they be bad? Let's take a deep dive in their schedule and find out. So Mississippi State starts off the season with a very, very weird game. They're on the road to face Louisiana Lafayette, the Ragin' Cajuns. I think Mississippi State's going to win this game. It's really weird that they're on the road. I guess they just needed another road game and figured, hey, might as well give them this cupcake road game. Mississippi State starts off the year with a 38-3 victory over Louisiana Lafayette. Louisiana Lafayette has had some success against some higher tier teams in the past couple years, but for the most part, they're just not on par with Mississippi State in any way. So I think Mississippi State gets the win to start off the season. So Mississippi State has their home opener against actually a pretty competitive team in Southern Miss. Southern Miss really isn't as bad as people say. Again, they've had some success against teams like Kentucky and Tennessee in the past couple years, and I think they will have some success against Mississippi State. They'll put up a fight. I think Mississippi State will kind of just overlook them because they have Kansas State next week, which is actually a pretty decently tough game for them. So I think that they're going to kind of overlook Southern Miss. They will get the win, but it will be a very ugly win, perhaps even an overtime win. 20-13 as Mississippi State hangs on for dear life to survive an upset against Southern Miss. Mississippi State has what I think is their toughest game of the season so far, but I do think that it will be a bigger win than Southern Miss. Here's why. I think Mississippi State will come to play against Kansas State and will take them more seriously. So even though Kansas State is better than Southern Miss, I'm going to give Mississippi State a 31-13 win over Kansas State, a much bigger win than they had over Southern Miss. I think Southern Miss caught the worst of Mississippi State, while Kansas State will get the best of Mississippi State. And the best Mississippi State is way better than the best of Kansas State. Mississippi State is 3-0 on the year. Mississippi State starts off conference play against Kentucky. I think this will be a very defensive game. Both these teams don't have great quarterbacks, but they have fabulous defenses. I think this will be a physical game. There won't be many points until the fourth quarter. Then both offenses will kind of be forced to score, and there might be some points scored in the fourth. But I think this will be pretty much a shutout until the fourth quarter. But Mississippi State, I think, will take the L against Kentucky. I just think Kentucky's quarterback is slightly better, and I think Kentucky will get the 10-7 win over Mississippi State as Mississippi State gets handed their first loss of the season. So Mississippi State heads back on the road for an extremely challenging game. I went over this in my Auburn video. I think Auburn's just better than Mississippi State. They're kind of similar teams. I think Auburn's just a little bit better at what they do. They have more depth. There's a more complete team from bottom to the top. So that's why I'm going to give Auburn the 35-24 win over Mississippi State, as Mississippi State is now 0-2 in conference play. So Mississippi State stays on the road to face another team that's kind of similar to them in the Tennessee Volunteers. I feel like Mississippi State is similar to a lot of teams. A lot of SEC teams are great defenses with a mobile quarterback that can kind of dual threat quarterback that can run around and make plays happen with his feet and not so much with his arm. But I do think that Tennessee is just a little bit better just because their coach. I think these rosters are about as even as you can get, but Tennessee just has the slight coaching advantage. That's why I'm going to give them the 13-10 win in a very, very ugly game, as Tennessee is victorious over Mississippi State, and Mississippi State is really, really struggling in SEC play. So can they turn their season around? Let's find out. Mississippi State faces another SEC West opponent in LSU. LSU, I think, is better than Mississippi State. I went over this in my LSU video. I think LSU is just better than Mississippi State. Mississippi State does not hold a candle to LSU's talent down the roster, especially when you look at the backups. LSU really has the advantage over them in the backups and on offense at the quarterback position. So the quarterback position will make all the difference in the world as this game, because LSU will have a way better offense than Mississippi State. Mississippi State's defense will keep on having to come back on the field and getting tired and tired and tired. That's why I believe that LSU will get the 31-17 victory over Mississippi State. So Mississippi State heads back on the road to face Texas A&M. I am very, very high in Texas A&M. I think, other than Alabama, they have the best shot to win the SEC West. I'm a big believer in Jimbo Fisher, and I think Jimbo Fisher knows what he's doing. So Texas A&M has the massive roster and coaching advantage, and that's why I'm going to give them the win 24-20. I think Mississippi State comes to play, and Texas A&M gets the absolute best of Mississippi State, but still the best is not quite good enough to take down Texas A&M, who I just think are a little bit better at their best. So Mississippi State heads back on the road to face the Arkansas Razorbacks. I'm going to give Mississippi State their first win of SEC conference play. Again, I think Arkansas is the worst team in the SEC. I'm just going to say it. They have an easy schedule, so they might not look like the worst team in the SEC, but when you take a look at their roster and their coaching staff, there's no doubt in my mind that they are the worst team in the SEC. So I give Mississippi State the 20-17 ugly victory here, because Mississippi State's not really a team that'll get blown out or will blow teams out. They're not going to lose by 60, and they're not going to win by 60. That's just the way they work. They have such a good defense and such a mediocre offense that most of the games that they are in close games. So they need those big playmakers to make those plays, and they don't have that yet. But they are still able to beat Arkansas just because, well, it's Arkansas. So, I mean, they're not going to lose to Arkansas. I'm going to look a little bit hypocritical here, because I said that Mississippi State is not a team that'll get blown out. But, I mean, it's Alabama, so what else will you expect? They're going to get blown out. I don't care how good of a defense you have. Tua is going to score points on you, and he's probably going to score a lot. And their defense is eventually going to get so tired that Tua will just have the day of his life, just being able to throw touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, because the Mississippi State defense isn't going to be able to perform at a high enough level to stop them, because they will be so tired by the time the second half rolls around, because their offense will not be able to stay on the field. So I'm going to give Alabama the 38-7 victory. It's not a huge blowout, but it is a very, very comfortable win here for Alabama, as they is just comfortable and convincing win for Alabama. It's not necessarily a blowout. I wouldn't call it a blowout. I think blowout gets kind of thrown around too easily. Some people say 14 points is a blowout. It's not. I mean, it's just a convincing win. One team's better than the other type of thing, and it's clear that one team is better than the other. It's not a 55-0 blowout. So Mississippi State has kind of a cupcake game before their final game against Ole Miss. I'm going to try to pronounce this team's name. Abilene Christian, I think. I never heard of this team before. I'm assuming it's a Christian school since it has the name Christian in it, a religious school. So obviously it's not going to be great in sports. That's not really religious schools' things. They're not huge into athletics. But obviously Abilene Christian's going to win 5,378.6-0, as Mississippi State is now going to miss out on a bowl game because all their players just got injured, if not dead, against some of the 600-pound beasts that run 3.78 40 times at Abilene Christian. So, I mean, what else would you expect here? All jokes aside, though, Mississippi State's going to win 48-0, building as much momentum as you can get, as much satisfaction as you can get from beating such a bad team from a religious school. So I'm not sure if that's even going to get them momentum, because honestly, it's kind of pathetic that they only win by 48 against this school. But they do build somewhat momentum against Ole Miss. Mississippi State ends off with, obviously, their hated rival, Ole Miss. Ole Miss has kind of had Mississippi State's number over the past couple years. It's been weird. Ole Miss has won, I think, the last 2 or 3. I might be wrong. I haven't done a ton of research into Ole Miss and Mississippi State. That's not really something that piques my interest. Unless you're an Ole Miss unless you're from Mississippi, it probably doesn't pique your interest. But I do think Ole Miss is actually going to win this game. I think this is going to be a game of a lot of importance, because I think both teams are going to be around the 5 and 6 area. So both teams are probably going to be fighting for a bowl spot, and I think I'm actually going to give Ole Miss the win. I think Ole Miss is just slightly better than Mississippi State. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but Ole Miss's offense, I think, will be just enough to beat Mississippi State and just score enough points, and I think their defense is going to kind of hold on to get the big win, and a huge win for Ole Miss to end off the year, but a devastating loss for Mississippi State as they are going to miss out on a bowl game. Sometimes for teams that miss out on a bowl game, I'll usually give them like advice to kind of how to fix their program and get up to kind of the good to elite levels, and I'm going to do that for Mississippi State here. For Arkansas and Vanderbilt, I gave like these detailed descriptions of multiple steps of how to get your program where it should be. Mississippi State, all you need is one thing: a quarterback who can throw the football. You haven't had that in quite a while since Dak Prescott, and if you can get that, you're loaded. You have the defense, you can recruit fine. Your coaching isn't great. I would like a better coach, but it's not mandatory for you guys. And if you guys can get a quarterback, you will be able to compete with teams like Auburn, Texas A&M, LSU, and maybe even Alabama. I know that's a big thing to say, but Mississippi State, talent perspective, when you take the quarterback perspective out of it, is about as good as anybody in the SEC besides Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, and Texas A&M, those elite teams. But they are quite a good team once you take the quarterback perspective out of it. And if you give them a good quarterback, if they are able to recruit their next Dak Prescott, I think Mississippi State is going to be locked and loaded to have some major success in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all my other schedule previews. It's in the playlist. Mark schedule previews. Yes, I am original. But have an amazing day, guys. Father's Day's coming up. Make sure you guys have something planned to spend time with your father. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.